All right, can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. Some more bullshit, man. I had gotten the whole intro ready. You see, I got the overlays going. I had the article up. I had the intro ready. Come on, man. Some more bullshit. How this shit fucked up. Ah, come on now. It's supposed to be a better. It's not even better quality. So you know what? You're probably right. I gotta tap in to see what's up with this mic situation. But good looking though. Thank you for letting me know. So if you guys did see, I did have an intro prepared. You guys think I should start it back up? You think I should rewind it, or I should just keep going? 'Cause I thought, I thought I was saying it. I was on a good little rhythm until I found out my sound was messed up. That's crazy, man. All right, but let me get into it. Let me get into the conversation. I don't want to waste any more time since I got some people here. Running back. All right, bet. Let's run it back. Let's run back the intro. Appreciate it, Al Money. All right. Yes, sir. All right, so I hope you guys did like it. Let me tap into some of the comments. These are all recorded. I see we start the whole thing and start fresh. Delete the O and I say. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut it back. I'm gonna just like when I download this video, I'm just gonna cut out the beginning and then start all over. Or I mean, and just continue from where we left off here. But let's get into it, man. Let's talk about some NFL. So I know on Monday, right? Bills versus Bengals. We saw a really unfortunate accident, right? With Damar Hamlin versus the Bills and Bengals game. Our money, I know you know. We were talking about it just before the game had started. And we had a lot of expectations towards this game. Damar Hamlin, as we know, he went for a tackle on T. Higgins, and then he fell down after the play was over. And then we found out later on, more and more, it started to get worse. The news started to get worse and worse as the news continued to progress, right? So as we know, appreciate it, bro. Thank you, Void. Yeah, man. I'm working in the background, man. You see, I'm working. But yeah, yeah, extremely unfortunate, Al Money, for sure, right? And then later on, we found out that he was actually in cardiac arrest, which is pretty insane. I've never seen something like that in all my life of playing football, watching football. I've never seen a guy fall into cardiac arrest in the middle of the game, and due to a tackle. I've played football. I've seen a guy get paralyzed, and obviously, unfortunate accidents like this do happen in the sport of football, but sometimes, you get a reality check, here and there when it comes to the game. We love the game so much. We love watching so much, and even the players that's playing it, they're risking their lives, their bodies, their livelihood, every second, every minute, every quarter, every game, right? So I think there definitely needs to be some support on Damar Hamlin's end of things. But great news is that he is getting better as the day goes by. I've been looking into a couple articles. I've been keeping up as much as possible. There's a multitude of social media platforms, news outlets that have been keeping up with the situation to make sure that this young brother is doing fine and dandy and will be able to play football later on. So hopefully, he can get things back up and running and be able to play the profession that he loves so much. But hopefully, man, hope he can get well. The most important thing is for him to get back on the field, right? So that's what I say is most important. All right, so let me switch it up here real quick because I do want to tap into something else, which is, y'all already know, man, the NFL playoff picture, man. Come on now. We had to get into it. The Week 17 takeaways and reactions. So I did take a lot of notes. I want to kind of get into the biggest things that I took away from this week. But first things first, I'm going to talk about my Giants, baby. You already know what it is, man. We are in the playoffs. You already know, man. Get out of here with all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We in it to win it, baby. Come on now, New York Giants. We going for the long haul, baby. We going for the Super Bowl. We going for the big one. I know. Hey, I know we got Daniel Jones, but hey, I like the way this roster is playing. I like the way we're looking. At the end of the day, the way I look at it with the Giants, it's a week by week basis. We can only go as far as Daniel Jones can take us, but that is really up in the air. This is the year for really for Daniel Jones to really make a statement and prove and show that he can be a long-term QB or a franchise QB, right? In the past two previous seasons, he had a promising rookie year, but the next 2 years. Wait, you a Giants fan? Daniel Jones is not it. Nah, you know what's crazy though? I was calling him Daniel Doodoo for the longest time, man, because I really thought he wasn't like I really thought he was asked if I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. But I gotta give credit to where credit is due. But first off, I had to retire the nickname because it's disrespectful as hell. I wouldn't want anybody to attach Doodoo to my last name. But I mean, hey, push comes to shove, hey, that's all in the past though now, right? So fact of the matter is he's winning, he's doing his thing. Right, but it's not just Daniel Jones. It's not all on Daniel Jones' shoulders. Our red zone defense, our defense has gotten a whole lot better. I always knew, even the past two previous seasons when we had Joe Judge, our defense was relatively okay. Our offense was the one that couldn't get things going, and a big contribution to that was due to Daniel Jones. But they're not. The Giants aren't afraid to be running the football with Saquon Barkley, as I consider him to be one of the best running backs in the game, right? And then our biggest problem is, and another thing is our offensive line. In the past, we've struggled tremendously with such a shit poor offensive line. I mean, god damn, that man Daniel Jones. Not only was he turning over the football with interception, but he was fumbling like a motherfucker, bro. Like that in itself, right there. You had me pissed at this dude because of just how many times he would fumble the ball. Like I think going into this year, he had like 50 touchdowns and like 49 turnovers in total. I think it was like 45 interceptions. So you could kind of see why that name Daniel Doodoo, where it was really coming from, right? But we got plagued with so many injuries. We let go of some receivers. Our receiving core was disseminated in the middle of the season. But now we made some moves. We utilized the guys that we had. We traded off Kadarius Toney. In the process of it, but in result to that, man, we've gotten a lot of good results, man. We got to give a lot of props to Brian Daboll. That's first things first, right? Brian Daboll was the coach. He came in after piss poor Joe Judge. All bark and no bite. All he would talk about is this and that. Be the greatest motivational speaker, and out there get a fucking donut, which is a fucking embarrassing. I can't stand that guy as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? But with Brian Daboll, I think he's a legitimate. I mean, that's not even really to be argued about. I think he is the coach of the year, in my opinion, especially with the year that the Giants had last year, and then going into this year with zero to no expectation. I mean, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I was one of those people who weren't high and mighty on my Giants entering the year, but I was very how can I put it? I was very I didn't know what to expect. I'll just leave it at that. I didn't know what to expect with the Giants this year. But, Brian Daboll came in and really had things stirring. He really switched some things around. So I'm just really glad and happy to see that this guy is at the head of this franchise and really taking things and really grabbing the bull by the horns. Right. So next thing's next, man. The Bucks, Tom Brady. The Bucks and Tom Brady have won their previous game against the Carolina Panthers, so they are finally in the playoffs, right? So throughout the year, the Buccaneers they had a lot of ups and downs. We didn't know what was going on as it pertained to with the Bucks, whether they were gonna win their division. I didn't really have no question about it. They were on top of the division for a better part of the year, but the biggest question was, were they going to be able to capitalize on the situation? Were they going to seal the deal, close the division, and then head into the playoffs? For me, I think most people weren't going against the Bucks and Tom Brady, but they were looking at this team and really saying that they're not going to really go far. They can't score. They don't make a lot of big plays. I think for the better part of the season, they haven't scored over 20 points in most of their games this year. But in this last game, man, Tom Brady really showed up and showed out, and not just only Tom Brady. We talk about Mike Evans. Evans. I think the biggest story here that concerns the Bucks is Mike Evans. He had over 200 yards receiving, and I believe what two or three touchdowns in the air. So that ultimately put him at that ultimately gave him an 1,000 yard season, man. So I know 1,000 yards receiving season is nothing to poo poo, and it's nothing to really like blow up about. But Mike Evans, I think he's the first NFL player, right, since his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken, to have a 1,000 yard season in every season that he's been with. I believe so, right? So it's been consecutive. I think it's what 10 years of 1,000, 10 years of 1,000 yard receiving years. I think that's only I believe that puts him like what in third place in terms of all time of of which receivers have 1,000 yard records, because I believe Jerry Rice has the record for 12 1,000 yard receiving yardage years, right? So tap into that, look that up. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. But I did see that recently, so I'm pretty sure I'm as accurate as I can be, at least in that area. Now with Tom Brady, right? We know the story going into this year. He left his wife and kids to play football this year. So there's a lot of speculation on how this is going to end. I mean, we've heard stories that also Tom Brady is or not Tom Brady, but the Las Vegas Raiders are probably going to be pursuing Tom Brady if he doesn't stay with the Bucks. But more than likely, I see this is Tom Brady's last year with the Bucks, and hopefully his last goddamn year in the NFL. Because I'm freaking sick of this guy, man. This guy needs to freaking retire. I don't want to see no 50-year-old still throwing the football against my team, man. Get out of here with all that, man. Nobody wants to see that, bro. Next chapter, bro. Let's see the next guy up. And the next guy up is Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, some of these young guys. But hey, man, I could still watch Brady lose one more game if he really wants it that badly, right? But right, so with this possibly being Tom Brady's last year, I think that's kind of an eye opener. With the Bucks, I think they're starting to flourish a little bit more. They made a lot of big plays in that last game, so that definitely probably boosted up their confidence heading into the playoffs. Who do they face in the last game? All right, so they go against the Atlanta Falcons. We already know Tom Brady has like one of the best I think the Atlanta Falcons probably never beaten Tom Brady throughout his career. You guys can probably look that up. The Atlanta Falcons probably never beat Tom Brady in their career, right? So I'm not even going to worry about that. That's shrug that to the side. Who cares, right? But more important things is, how are the Bucks going to look in the playoff? What are they going to look like? How far can they get? What are they going to do? And I think that obviously that's all predicated on the game plan and how well this offensive line is. Yo, what's up, Batcher? What's up, man? Good to see you, man. Hey, I'm getting that Twitch up and running, man. As you can see, I got the overlays now. So I'm working on a bunch of different things. But yeah, the Twitch is definitely gonna be up and running here pretty soon. I mean, obviously I was able to get it up and running. I mean, you saw that time, but that was just me broadcasting straight from my PlayStation. But back to the NFL news, right? The Bucks, man, it's going to be heavily predicated on how this line is, because we know throughout the year the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have taken a tremendous hit on their offensive line. They've lost their center. They haven't been able to block well for Tom Brady. They haven't been, and another thing, they haven't been able to get the running game going also, right? That's also a huge factor in this whole thing. So you're starting to see the defense for the most part for the year have always been average to decent, or probably even sometimes really good. There were games where the defense have kept Tom Brady and that offense in the game for a long time, but going into the game plan, the Bucks have to be confident. They have to be able to get that play action going. They have to be able to run the ball, get these guys in the backfield the ball, Rashad White, Leonard Fournette. They have to be able to be more versatile with their offense, because you can't rely on a 45-year-old dude to be throwing the football up and down the field. We clearly, for the better part of the year, it has not been working, right? So I'm just leave it at that. All right, so another thing to take here is the Packers, right? This year was a pretty up and down year for the Packers. We already know that Devontae Adams have left the Packers, and there was a lot of speculation on what was going on with the Packers. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to retire? How are the Packers going to look without their number one receiver and Devontae Adams? And I may say, with the way the Packers are looking currently, I think they got the better end of the deal, man. I mean, considering how the trade went down and what the situation is now. I mean, look at it. The Raiders aren't in the playoffs, and the Packers are still in the position to win the playoffs. So it's gonna come down to this Week 18 matchup: Lions and Packers. And I think that was the Sunday night. So and NFL had just announced that this is the Sunday night game. So really, we're in for a really, really good one when it comes down to Sunday night with the Packers and the Lions, right? So I believe what the Packers had started out the season 4-8, and now they've won 4 straight games. So now they're sitting at 8-8, looking to go above 500, going against a team that Aaron Rodgers have always beaten within his division, the Detroit Lions, right? But Detroit Lions are one of those teams you can't overlook. Their defense is starting to look better throughout the year, even though they're still considered one of the worst defenses in the league. But they also mix it up with having one of the best offenses in the league. Their receiving core with Amon-Ra St. Brown, I forgot the name of the rookie that's on there, Jamal Williams, I believe is leading the league in rushing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. But he was up there. And Jared Goff, he's starting to look considerably better for this team. So the Detroit Lions, whatever draft pick they get, right, they're probably better off of circling, getting better talent around Jared Goff. It doesn't particularly have to be on the offensive side of the ball, but definitely they have to cover something on the defensive end. Probably like a corner, somebody in the secondary. They for sure need somebody on the secondary end to supplement this team, right? So with the Packers, we've seen them flourish. We've seen them get better and better over time as the season progressed. Aaron Rodgers is starting, even though he's been throwing more interceptions than he has in the past. He's been open. He's been more open to receivers like Dobbs, like Christian Watson. Christian Watson has been a young rookie receiver who's been doing his thing. He hasn't been in the news as of yet. But in the weeks prior to that, I think he had like a touchdown in almost all the games that he had played up until that point. I think we can look it up too. But with the Packers, right, and now they're starting to run the ball with A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones. We already know they got a 1-2 punch combo, and the defense, more importantly, that Packers defense, which they spent so much money on, is starting to look better and better. I think last week they had like or in that Dolphins game they had like three takeaways or 2 takeaways late or in the second half, things like that. When the defense can start to get turnovers, I feel a lot more confident knowing that Aaron Rodgers is on the offensive side of the ball. So if I'm turning the ball low, or if I'm getting turnovers on the defensive end, and then Aaron Rodgers is at the helm of that offense, we're starting to see some things, right? But more importantly, man, Aaron Rodgers just needs to do his thing. He has to cook in the playoffs. If they do make the playoffs, right? We can't look at a matchup like the Detroit Lions and hold so much weight onto that. Even though the Lions are a good team, I would probably even say a very good team in the second half of the season. But, that's not going to take you far, if you're going against teams like the 49ers or the Eagles, right? And we all know what Aaron Rodgers is what his record is against the San Francisco 49ers. That number one defense, I don't know there, buddy. You feel me? We've seen that story before. We've seen what happened with Aaron Rodgers against the 49ers, right? So that is really something we got to take away from this situation, at least looking down if the Packers do make the playoffs. How are they going to do against great teams? And they have played against some good teams. I mean, noticeably last week against the Minnesota Vikings, right? They needed that win. They got a good win against the Minnesota Vikings, a well-needed win indeed, right? And I probably can key off some things though too. Packers can clinch the playoffs, but they're rolling at a good time. They beat the Minnesota Vikings 41-17. Jari Alexander, Justin Jefferson had 0 receptions in the first half in that game, and I believe in the second half he only had 1 reception for 15 yards. So that's outstanding defensive play on Alexander's end. So I was right. Packers have won 4 straight games, but will face Lions who will win right? And they've beaten the Chicago Bears. So whoever wins this game will go to the playoffs, right? Defensive, forcing turnovers and ground game. Yes. So the Packers, the defense recently has been forcing turnovers in the ground game. On average, they've been averaging 138.8 rushing yards per game in that 4 game skit, right? So next thing now is the AFC East, right? We saw what the Steelers did. The Steelers had beaten the Baltimore Ravens, a team that's already clinched their playoff spot. And we already know, right, Lamar Jackson has been playing in recent weeks, but the Ravens still finding a way to muster up wins. But not last week, man. Pittsburgh Steelers are still kicking. I don't know, man. My thing about the Steelers, right? I think the Steelers are going to be an extremely dangerous team within the next 2 years. If you guys do not think George Pickens is going to be an all-star receiver, he is. You can watch certain players, play and tell when they got it. And George Pickens is a motherfucker that got that shit, bro. He got that dog in him. Like for real, for real. I seen that dog in that draft video when he got drafted. And he he was like in that awkward position with a ski mask on, watching the draft, man. But yeah, the Steelers, they just know how to draft well. And over time, people were starting to say, the Steelers were going to have their first losing record under Mike Tomlin. And now that might not be the case, right? They have a very good chance to get themselves in the playoffs. Or at the worst, just not have a losing record. Let me scroll this down a little bit so you guys can at least see, who's in the hunt for the playoffs, right? So the Steelers, what they need is obviously they have to beat the Browns, and then they also probably need the Patriots. Yeah, they need the Patriots to lose. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to trying to get it all in order. What the Steelers need to get into the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. But I know for a fact, either the Patriots and I think it has to do with the Dolphins and the Patriots. I've read that somewhere. Really, one of those teams would have to lose out, and then and obviously the Steelers have to win in, so they have to win out, and then the other two teams, one of those teams, have to lose out in order for them to even have a chance to be in that position, right? So with that being said, man, it's just with the Steelers. Kenny Pickett is starting to play better. Najee Harris is, who was a player who is seen to have value, who can catch out of the backfield and run the ball. But the Steelers, that offensive line has been up and down in these past couple years, which is why why the backfield really hasn't flourished. And especially, since this is the first season with really having a different quarterback other than Ben Roethlisberger, right? You have to start getting these younger QBs a little bit more comfortable, especially in the position that they're in. All right, but with the Steelers, man, they have T.J. Watt, who's one of the best defensive ends in the league. I still consider the Steelers defense to be one of, if not one of the best defenses in the league. Really, it's just their offense that just needs to get it together. If they can get their offensive game plan together, if Kenny Pickett can start make better decisions, start to flourish a little bit more, reading his reads, all that jazz about, with stuff and QBs and all that nature. Once that offense can start to flourish, this Pittsburgh team is going to look dangerous, right? Oh, so yeah, I have it right here. So Steelers with the playoffs, they're gonna have to win out. Pats versus Bills. So one of those teams. Oh, so the Pats are gonna have to lose. Bills need to win out for number 1 seed. Finns need to make it with division heap. And Jets out with 23-6 loss to the Seahawks. Right, so that's it about the Steelers. Let me talk about the Jets real quick. So the Jets are done, they're done for, man. They're not making shit this year. And it's sad to see, for the Jets because reason why I say it's sad to see is because the Jets are a really, really good team, man. Looking at this roster and the roster makeup and how this team was built, you had Sauce Gardner, one of, if not, he was probably the best cornerback this year, hands down. I think he had like the most pass deflections in his direction, and quarterbacks were barely throwing him the ball with the way he was providing coverage in these games. So the Jets defense, man, they had top tier defense. Honestly, it's really to the point where I would even consider it to be in the same stratosphere as the 49ers. The reason why this Jets team was just so ass, and we all know why they were so ass, is because of freaking Zach Wilson, the guy from BYU, for God knows where, got drafted at the number 2 spot because he threw a couple nice balls at a pro day, which is complete and utter bullshit, right? This is why I don't even consider after this bullshit, we shouldn't even consider pro day even a fucking thing anymore after this shit, because Zach Wilson, literally, in my opinion, is one of the biggest busts in NFL history. Not the biggest, but one of the biggest busts in NFL history. With the expectations with this team, I've never look. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Right? You literally had a playoff team. The Jets, argue with me here. If you guys disagree, let me know. The Jets literally had a playoff team. They did. They had a playoff team. We know that they lost their star running back, right? But that was the only thing. Their defense was still keeping them in games. Their running game was still able to flourish. You can mix guys in. But their quarterback play was atrocious. It was utterly poo-poo. Right? I believe Zach Wilson was completing 55% of his passes. That's complete and utter dog crap. And usually QBs are supposed to get better in their sophomore year. Right? He got worse. He looked like shit his sophomore year and his second year in the league, right? So this is and Mike White, he's had a couple good games, but I could say the same thing about Zach Wilson, man. Here's the thing, man. The Jets have been flopping at their quarterback position for a very, very, very long time. They've been flopping with this QB situation for a long time, man. It went downhill when they signed Brett Favre. When they signed Brett Favre, that's when things started to go downhill, right? And then Mark Sanchez, even with Mark Sanchez there, it was almost the same situation. Good running game. They had the number 1 rushing attack and the number 1 defense when Mark Sanchez was the starting quarterback. So it's no different. It's no different, man. The Jets just don't know how to draft QB. They don't know how to pick QBs, man. Like, what the hell? And then I'm not a guy who's huge on Justin Fields, right? I wasn't huge on Justin Fields coming out of the draft, but we can agree to disagree. The Jets would look 100 times better with Justin Fields as quarterback. Let's keep it 100 here. The Jets would look 100 times better with Justin Fields at quarterback, right? You can run options all day. That team would almost look like the Baltimore Ravens, but with a better defense. Right? And just just imagine what's his name? Himes, that got injured, the starting running back for the Jets. Just imagine if he were to come back, how this team would look with him back in the lineup. Right? This team would look dangerous. The fact of the matter is, man, let's call it out. Let's call it out how we see it. Zach Wilson is dog shit. Right? He shouldn't be a starting quarterback for a team in New York City. Or But yeah, man, that just goes to show, whoever's the freaking GM needs to hold up to that. I don't say he needs to get fired because he did make some great roster moves throughout the year and the year prior. But as far as when it comes down to this Zach Wilson draft selection, hey, you got to eat that, bro, because that is a bad one. That is a bad one for sure, right? Now let me tap it. Let me turn the page. Turn the page on something new. All right, so the Las Vegas Raiders. So we already know, man, that the Las Vegas Raiders had made the decision to bench Derek Carr, right? So they have made the decisive decision to bench Derek Carr in favor of Jared Stidham. Um, I kind of glossed over a little bit, but let me kind of resurface my opinion, or let me kind of give my up to date opinion on the matter. I think this whole thing with the Raiders is complete and utter stupidity to bench Derek Carr, because I still view Derek Carr as a franchise QB, and I have good stats to even prove that the Raiders are overreacting, at least as it pertains to the quarterback play. I mean, even though Derek Carr, yes, he's tied for the most interceptions in the year, but there's also, I mean, but God damn, man, it's freaking football. There's a multitude of things that affect the game in so many different ways, right? So I have it right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Right? Look, Raiders, since Derek Carr was drafted in 2014, they have the Raiders defense has 157 takeaways, which is the fewest in the NFL. And then they have an average of 26.1 points per game allowed, which is the most in the NFL. How the fuck is that a QB's fault? Right? How is that his fault? You have a franchise QB. And look, I'm not saying that Derek Carr is one of the best QBs out there, but I consider him average to above average. We've seen how he's played in the past. Yes, they have a better offense this year. But the defense, but remember, you can't win this game without some type of defense, man. Look, I even have another one. Hopefully I can find this one. Look, right? I have this one right here. This one right here. I'm gonna just read this off to you, but just so you guys can see it, right? So Raiders defense since Derek Carr's first season in 2014, right? Last. 2015, last. 2016, third to last, right? 2017, third to last, right? And I'll even read off the points though too. So 2016 was 24.1 points per game, and 2017 was 23.3 points per game. That was third to last in the league, right? 2018, last, 29.2 points per game, right? 2019, last. 2020, last. 2021, third to last. 2022, guess what? Last, right? So how the hell does this have anything to do with Derek Carr? How does benching Derek, and they still lost the game. They still lost the game. What does it matter if you were close or not? You still lost the game. So what does it matter? People are getting, they're getting their horses up about Jarrett Stidham and how well he played against number one defense. You still lost. You still lost, bro. It wasn't gonna be any better. Let's sum this up. Let's really think about this real quick, right? Do you guys think that Jarrett Stidham starting throughout this whole year would have been better than having Derek Carr in as quarterback? I don't see it any different, and I don't see no improvement. I'm going to leave it at that, man. I already went on my rant, my spiel as it pertains to the Raiders, man, because they're making some dumbass moves, man. They're making some dumbass moves. Like, come on now. Right? But also, right, Jarrett Stidham, let me just give off some stats, though, too. He was 23 for 34, threw for 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, and had 2 interceptions. Come on now. 2 interceptions, right? So, 49ers adjusted. Obviously, they were caught off storm in the first half against Jarrett Stidham, right? And then they adjusted in the second half. Eventually, it went to overtime, but they still managed to beat the record. The Raiders 37-34. Right? Who do the Chiefs go against? Oh, give me a sec. Oh, okay, yeah. So they go against the Raiders. The Chiefs go against the Raiders next week. So we know that, or we can assume that Jarrett Stidham is more than likely going to be the starting QB for next week, right? So we've seen how he's played against a 49ers defense who are the number one defensive team in the league, right? So with the Chiefs, it's a completely different story. They're 20th when it comes to they're 20th ranked when it comes to pass defense. So we're gonna see what Jarrett Stidham is made of in this game against the Chiefs, against a division rival. All right, let me take some time to look at some comments because I know you guys are saying some things, man. Batcher, I already said what's up, man. I already said that like 20 minutes ago. So good looking out, man. Always looking out. Our money, Patriots still alive. Congrats to the Giants fan. Nah, I appreciate it, man. Hey, you know what? That's a rare. You know what? You better than me. You better than me because as a Patriots, as a Giants fan, I wish the worst on y'all motherfuckers. Not on you personally, but on y'all team. I wish y'all had like a 0-18 season, bro. I wish y'all was in the mud, man. But honestly though, I think it is great to see, how the Patriots are still able to find some type of success after the whole Tom Brady tenure, because a lot of people were starting to really question Bill Belichick's coaching acumen, able to pick up talent. I mean, yeah, he's not. The fact of the matter is, we know that Bill Belichick is not perfect, right? He's not a perfect. He's not the perfect GM. Some may say he probably might even be an average GM, right? But when it comes to it, when it comes down to it, it comes down to this. He knows how to manipulate the cap, right? And then he knows how to get a team ready, a team prepared for a week to week matchup, right? And sometimes, man, that's all you need. And as you can see, right? All good, bro. We not going anywhere. It's next up. Nah, for sure. Let me know in the comment section. Are you convinced on Mac Jones? Do you think Mac Jones is the future? Right. So and this is a crucial matchup too for the Bills also, because I mean for the Patriots, because they're going against the Bills next week, so they have to win this game. But remember, I think we spoke about it. If I'm not mistaken, we did talk about it. In the past, right? Our money. We did have a conversation with the Patriots' remaining schedule. So last week, who did they go against? Who did they go against last week? I'm losing my memory. Come on now, come on now. Who did they go against last week? They went against, and I know that they won, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to be quick about it. They played. Oh, the Dolphins. Yeah, they played the Dolphins and they beat the Dolphins last week. So yeah, the Dolphins are like what, on a 5 game losing streak, right? So honestly, that was a big win. That was a big win. Thank you, bro. They played Carolina. Who plays it? Andrews. Who plays Carolina? I don't see who plays Carolina. Who plays Carolina next week? Who plays Carolina? That was a random comment. Andrea Smith. But good looking out though. Welcome to the page. Welcome to Cash Sports, man. I'm glad to have you here. Yeah. So they thank you, our money though. So they played the Dolphins, which was a good win. I think honestly, what the week before the Dolphins, I said they would lose that game, and then they would beat the Dolphins, and then the Bills really they can. Remember, I said more than likely they could go 1-3, which was probably the highest probability in this situation. But now they have an opportunity to finish out the season. But with the Bills, especially since they didn't finish that game on Monday, they have to come into this week. They have to play their players. The Bills, they're trying to gun for that number one spot. They cannot lose out because the Chiefs are looking to get that number one seed. And this is why I love the rule changes when it comes to the NFL, especially with this number one seed, because now everybody got to play. Everybody got to play for this number one spot. Everybody wants that number one bye seed, man. Everybody wants it. But not anybody can get it, right? So it's exciting, man. It's like we're getting good, hard football from week in, week out, week to week, division, from division team to another division team. So, with the Patriots, right? I just don't see it. I just don't see them in a position to beat the Bills. But it's gonna be. I don't think they're just gonna run over the Patriots. They're gonna come out there. The Patriots are gonna know what's at stake. If they can get that win, that would definitely be the upset of the week. But so you know what? Our money. I will pick y'all to beat the Bills this week in week 18, man. I'm going with the upset, man. I'm going with your team to beat the Bills, man. I'm going for it. Man. I'm going for the upset. I like picking the underdogs, man. It makes a great story. It makes a great story for it because it gives me something more to talk about. I don't like the favorites saying, "Oh, yeah, we knew this was gonna happen." Nah, man. I want to see the Patriots. I want to see y'all beat the Bills, man. For real, for real. because then they don't get the number one seed, and that just makes way more exciting football in that wild card weekend, right? I would love to see this Bills. At the end of the day, the Bills are still a very exciting team, man. So I like watching this team play week in and week out. Josh Allen is certainly excited to see. And as the weeks goes by, we're gonna see what he's made of, because we know with the Bills, they were saying the Bills were gonna have one of the greatest seasons of all time, right? Josh Allen was gonna win MVP, and the Bills were gonna be Super Bowl champions, right? So a lot of things to take away from there, but we know that Von Miller is out for the season, so I think this team is worse than how they started off, but they're still a great team, right? So nothing to take away there. Also, another thing, I think that's it for at least for some of my notes. Let me see. You see, I'm over here. I've been writing stuff, man. I'm trying to be a little bit more prepared for you guys, man. I'm trying to be a little bit better. Oh, so yeah, I actually do have some more stuff. So going back to what I was talking about with Daniel Jones, that he can solidify his long-term future. Right, he had a bad rookie year, and then he had a solid rookie year, but then he had two bad seasons after that. And then so now with Brian Dable and offensive play caller Mike Kafla, they reinvented Jones, right? So now he has career highs. Daniel Jones, right? So he has a 66.5 completion percentage. He has 617 rushing yards and five rushing TDs on the season, right? And in their win against the Colts, which was 38-10, right? They blew them boys out. He threw 2 touchdowns in the air and then 2 on the ground, and that was able to clinch that playoff spot for the Giants. I think they're really stuck where they're at, so they really can't move up or down. So there's really no fruition with the New York Giants. So I think for the better part, I think they're going to be sitting their guys out for that last week. I don't think they're against the Eagles. I don't think they're going to play their guys. I think they're just going to bet house money on the playoffs. There's no reason if you have no chance of moving up in the seeding. I really don't see no point, and especially they're third in their division, so. You can't go above the Cowboys. We can't be over the Cowboys or the Eagles. So we're just good where we're at, man. There's nothing really to say about that. Another thing to take away though too is the Eagles. They lost back-to-back games with Jalen Hurts out in the past 2 weeks. They've lost to the Cowboys and they've lost to the Saints. So the Philadelphia Eagles they're going to host my Giants this week, and they have to win in order to get that number one seed, which I'm assuming they will, right? I don't see no reason why Brian Dable would play his guys just to fuck up the Eagles from getting their number one spot, even though I think it would be funny. I think it would be cool. But, with with the constant injuries that happens in football, I wouldn't risk it, man. Just rest your guys. Get the game plan ready. Watch these games in this last week. Get Daniel Jones up to speed. With what's to come. And especially you want to keep Saquon Barkley fresh in the playoffs. Especially when it gets in that cold area. You don't want to have Daniel Jones throwing the ball up and down the field. You want to give the ball. You want to run the ball. And you want to stop the run. That is the starting recipe for a team to be able to win a Super Bowl, right? It starts there. Run the ball, stop the run. Because usually around that time in the playoffs, it's cold, so you got to do that. Which is what makes the 49ers so freaking unstoppable, man, because they run the ball and stop the run. Right? Another thing, though, too, is the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. The story here is, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they just flourished as a team. They've gotten better over time, and as the season progressed, even though Trevor Lawrence has had no touchdowns in the previous 2 weeks, for the most part, though, they've beaten teams with a combination of 50-6, right? And then Jags, they claimed the AFC South title, blowing out the Texans 31-3. They've won 4 games in a row and looking better. The Tennessee Titans have lost 6 consecutive games, and they also have rookie trouble. We also know that they benched Malik Willis in favor of Dobbs as a starting QB, and we know that Ryan Tannehill is out. Now, I want to talk about Malik Willis, right? And I don't want to shit on the brother too much, but I think I've seen enough um, out of Malik Willis as it pertains to being a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm keeping it 100 with you. I think I've seen enough. He's not it, bro. I know a lot of people were talking about. A lot of people were. I got some more comments. Oh, let me tap into this. Dolphins. I thought you asked to play Tampa Bay next week. Oh no, I got you. That was a previous question. Okay. I think our receivers need to improve so Mac Jones can improve. Nah, certainly, yeah. I mean, that's really the biggest thing with Bill Belichick. He doesn't know how to draft receivers. That's because Bill Belichick understands the importance of having a really great offensive line. And I think Mac Jones. I think he's a good quarterback. I think Mac Jones is a good quarterback. I think he's a good system quarterback. But yeah, and especially with Ramondre Stevenson and who else? I know you got another running back, but I know Stevenson has been playing extremely well. But I know the Patriots have always had a knack for the 1-2 punch combo, right? Like having multiple running backs in the backfield, as just as it pertains to um, just having a multitude of running backs and running the ball. Sorry, I had a brain fart there real quick. So yeah, they need to get better receivers in order for this team to look a lot better. Because this Patriots defense, for the most part, they've always been relatively okay, well. But we know Bill Belichick knows how to coach defense. He knows how to get his defense prepared. It really just comes down to his receivers. And not to mention though too, it's not just the receivers. They need to get a different play call in there. Matt Patricia needs to get the F up out of there, bro. Matt Patricia cannot be calling plays. They need to get somebody in there who can really, really work with Mac Jones and get better results from him, at least as in his field, right? I thought you asked about Tampa Bay next week. Yeah, my fault on that. I know I missed your comment, Andrea Smith. But yeah, man, I get back to him eventually. So don't feel discouraged if I don't read a comment immediately. All right, but again, welcome to Cash Sports, man. You can see. Usually, I have people tap in here. I can inviting guests, things like that. So if you guys do want to tap in, hey, just let me know. I wouldn't shy away from it. But I don't think I have too much time to have like a debate. So really, I'm just trying to put as much information as possible. Also. Oh yeah, so that's kind of like my last point. So I'm gonna finish it off with this, right? So with Malik Willis, right? I know there was a lot of talk and speculation as to how he was gonna be in the NFL. He was somewhat of a big prospect, somewhat of a prospect heading into this year. I wasn't too convinced on him. I think I've seen a number of games of highlights of this guy to not really be convinced, especially against certain teams that he played against. He didn't really step up in the way he should have as a draft prospect. You get what I'm saying? Like usually in college games, you want to see draft prospects play good against great teams at the collegiate level, right? That's how it always works, man. It's not just the skill, but it's also who you go against at the collegiate level for you to be even able to have a good argument when it comes to your draft stock. It's always like that, man. It's always like that. I don't know why. And reasons like this is how you get Zach fucking Wilson. Because Zach Wilson should be lower than Malik Willis at this point, as it pertains to QBs, man. Like let's keep it 100 here, man. You feel me? Like Zach Wilson should be he should be mystery relevant, and Brock Purdy should be the number one. He should be the number one draft, the number 2 pick, right? Zach Wilson should be mystery relevant, and not even should even be freaking playing, right? So Yeah, man, that is it. I know that that is the summary of my notes. I have a couple nitpick things here that I could talk about though, but I'm gonna kind of save that for a little bit later. I do need to get back into the whole collegiate, the national championship, because I know that's coming here pretty soon, right? So stay tuned. I appreciate you guys tapping in, man. Like and subscribe to the video. I would graciously appreciate it, man. You see, I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm doing my thing. I'm working here as much as possible. I start school next week, so I'm gonna try to have a consistent streaming schedule. Now, I'm gonna kind of explain it for you guys who are watching, right? So I'm not gonna be talking or talking about sports every single video. But in those times, right, that's why I'm getting my Twitch up. So when my Twitch is up, I can still play my games and then still be able to somewhat, talk and chat with you guys, so you guys can tap in, give your comments and things of that nature, right? So I'm just trying to mix in both things, trying to be consistent, with at least trying to find ways to post, especially like if it's a dead sports day and there's not a lot of news, or not a lot of topics that I can cover in a live stream setting. That's why I wanted to implement the Twitch, so you guys can still find ways to interact with me, and we can still maintain somewhat of a conversation, right? So some days you might see me just Twitch, some days we might debate, and then some days I might have a full freaking on party in here on the debate section, right? So that that's gonna come in the near future. You see, I have some projects coming up. I do have some projects here coming up. Batcher, I don't know if you back in here though, man. But I found my rookie card. That's right. I found my Justin Herbert rookie card, man. Let me see. Let me show the good people here, since I got some people here. Where is it? Where is it? Come on now. Yes, sir. Right here. I was looking for. I know last time when we was on here, I was looking for my Justin Herbert rookie cards, man, and there it is. There it is right there, man. Y'all can see my green screen too because it's blocking my face. But yeah, I got two of Justin Herbert's rookie cards, man. I'm telling you guys, keep following, keep subscribing, keep hitting those notification buttons, because I have a huge project I'm going to be doing. I will be doing a giveaway in the future. I will. I'm just still trying to get some details together, trying to get the project together. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of promotion. It's a big investment. So as you can see, you can tell I'm doing a lot of things. I'm going to school. I'm going to learn animation next week. Yeah, so let me tell you guys a bit about myself now. So yeah, next week I'm going to be going to school in Hollywood. So I'm going to be learning animation. I'm going to be going to school. I'm going to be obviously I stream, I Twitch. I'm a workout fanatic. So I'm in fitness. So I do the most, and I also act on the side, right? So this is my way of going about my day, man. This is a typical day for me. So that is what contributes to my streaming schedule being a little bit out of whack, because especially with the acting, with the acting gigs, man. That could be. I could really get a text now and be like, "Hey, can you come in at 12?" You know what I'm saying? Like this is really kind of how it works, But if it wasn't for that, and then just if it was just this in school, then it would be a completely different story. But let me go back and just keep you guys, or keep refreshing you guys. So rookie cards. Actually, let me show you here one more time, man, just so you guys can see it for yourself. So give me one second. I'm gonna show it to you guys again. All right. So you see this? Actually, let me switch this out. Let me go back to dynamic mode. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to switch this out. Okay, this is a new system, so I'm just trying to get. Now you guys can see my bullshit ass green screen. All right, so it doesn't even freaking matter. Let me see. And it doesn't even matter. Who cares about the green screen? So check this out. I know this is my second time showing this on my stream, right? So this right here is a signed Josh Allen Super Bowl pennant when he came to Los Angeles last year, early last year. I mean, yeah, last year, right? So I will be giving this away. I will be giving this, right? I will be giving my Justin Herbert rookie card, one of one of my Justin Herbert rookie cards, a Justin Jefferson rookie card, and also a pair of Jordans, right? So just stay tuned on that, man. This isn't the official announcement because I will have a video and things up and running that's gonna give a lot more details on how to win the giveaway and how to participate in the giveaway. Obviously, one of those things is to subscribe and support the channel. Now I will give it you guys in advance. You will have to buy something, but the goal here for me, right, in this giveaway is to build, is to build my audience, build a good audience and a good networking platform, right? Because I want to have a multitude of people, that I can connect with, network with, get my Discord up and running, and just have, just have that following. Because I know, just from the people that I interact with now, these are the sort of people that I do, want to want to have under my wing, right? And not just me being at the top. I'm trying to find a way to explain it, but not just me just selling you guys something, right, or just giving away something. Essentially, my goal is to have a community, right, and that's really what the goal here is at the end of the day, right? Is to have the community, and that's all that's all I would be extremely happy if if I have like at least a thousand people, 1,000 people in my audience, man. That's really that's really the name of the game, right? So yes, you will have to probably buy something to enter into the giveaway. But trust and believe, man. If you guys don't win in the giveaway, trust and believe, man. Just being in the cash media community, trust and believe, man, we are going to get into some things. We're going to talk a lot more things. I'm not going to just leave it at sports. We're going to be talking finances. We're going to be talking health because I work out. Look, I'm in the gym, man. I'm in the gym, man, every day. So I work out like a motherfucker. So we can tap into some fitness things. We can tap into relationships here and there. And even take in-person calls. And it's a lot. I'm a guy with a lot of ideas and a lot of big plans. But at the end of the day, I can't make this work without you guys, the audience, being able to. Without you guys making it work, right? So I can only go as far as you guys allow it to, right? And at the end of the day, I can only just be myself. I can only just listen to you guys, communicate with you guys, give as much content as give as much content to you guys as much as possible, right? And that's that's where it comes down to. But there's a lot of things that I want to tap into. But I'm gonna save that for a later day. But you guys just had a quick little sneak peek on what's to come in the near future. So I'm excited. Once again, please like and subscribe to Cash Sports. I would graciously appreciate it. Man, cancel. Why is it like this though? Oh, okay. You see, I had it in the back. I had it in the back, man. What the hell? So yeah, I'm using a new software though too. So I'm not using StreamYard anymore. I'm using an entirely different software. But yeah, so this concludes another episode of Cash Sports. Please like and subscribe to the podcast, man. Sooner or later, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys one thing though too. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm not gonna tell a lot of people this, right? I'm gonna be on TV on Let's Make a Deal. And you guys are gonna, I'm gonna post it on here. I'm gonna put it on here so you guys can see my BS, man. So I was on TV. I was on Let's Make a Deal. Like what was it? 2 months ago? Yeah, it was like a couple months ago. So the episode will be airing January 23rd. with Wayne Brady. So stay tuned for that, man. It's gonna be a funny time. So after that episode airs, then that's when I'm gonna switch the name from Cash Sports to Cash Media, because I shouted the name out on the show, so I just want to keep it on there as I want to keep it on there up until the show airs, and then after that, I'm gonna officially change it to Cash Media, right? So then you guys can start to see, the shift, right? You can see the shift go from Cash Sports to Cash Media. You're like, whoa, what's going on now? But trust and believe, man, the sports is not going anywhere. I just want to let you guys know that sports is not going anywhere. I love this shit, right? But I've been prolonging it for too long. I have people calling me and stuff, so I gotta walk away, right? So thank you guys for tapping into the Cash Sports podcast. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell, that notification button. Thank you guys. I love you so much for tapping in. And this is Cash Sports. Let me play that ending for you now. Play that ending for you now.